Ladies, gentlemen, listeners of all ages, welcome to another edition of Dudek and the Franchise. This is our 10th installment of our weekly podcast, so let's get right into it. Franchise, a.k.a. Lamar Francis, how are you today?
I'm good. Is this our 10th already?
I believe it's our 10th already, yes.
Oh, wow.
Well, for all intents and purposes, it's our 10th, so we'll go with that.
Oh, wow. 10th anniversary. This is a special franchise.
It's not really an anniversary edition. It's like St. Patrick's Day. It's like we're celebrating something before it actually happens.
What is St. Patrick's Day really about? I always wondered what that about.
I don't know. Google will tell us the answer to that question later. But for now, I guess we could just get right into it. The NFL free agent period is a time of trepidation for a lot of teams, especially teams that have a lot of money to spend and may not know exactly how to spend it. So, in your opinion, what do you think is the one free agency move that needs to be made?
One free agency move. The Patriots need to sign Keith Lee back because there's a very big difference of when he was playing and when he wasn't playing, and it was like a very vast difference. But news just came in. Now it just came out an hour ago that Antonio Cromartie got released on his check.
Yeah, I saw that.
Now I'm kind of wondering, because my whole theory, you remember my theory was signing to leave instead of Revis, because Revis would cost too much, signing to leave and getting Brandon Browner, who would be by a marvelous discount because he's suspended for the first 4 games, and then he doesn't get paid for another 4 games. You get him for a 4-game, for a 4-game price. And now we're actually signing Cromartie, who, for all purposes, was the best corner on a really good defense.
Right.
But I'm not sure if it should be to lead a Cromartie, especially if it's a division guy, he knows the players in the division. Unfortunately, you just go for another guy. But that's my move right there. At least to leave in another corner.
I think that's a pretty interesting one. I think Talib and Cromartie might not work out the best because, to me, in terms of the fact that they play based off of their athleticism rather than necessarily being like speed and coverage types of players, guys who like rely on like the ability to jump and deflect passes and their athletic gifts as opposed to the ability to keep up with other players with good footwork and positioning and stuff like that. I feel like if you get one guy who's like the athletic type, like Talib or Cromartie, for example, and another like shiftier, pretty quicker guy on the other side, like a Rogers Cromartie, for example, I think you're in better position to match up against more types of receivers than just, big, taller guys, which are slowly becoming less effective in the NFL, save, of course, Calvin Johnson, because he's just a freak. But I think as a whole, Talib and Cromartie on the same secondary sounds nice, although they wouldn't be able to stop the types of receivers all the time. Or all types of receivers all the time, rather.
It's true, except for the whole thing that Ken Chancellor shut down Russ Wilson kind of just made me feel some type of way, so it kind of makes me feel like, I don't know, big guys can do everything. But, so I guess a Vontae Davis type, except I don't know if you can sign both. I don't know if they would want to sign both of them because they would have similar contracts. But Rogers Cromartie would do a good job. But I don't know. He seems like he wants to retire in the year. And any guy who says he wants to retire around the age of 25 if he wins the Super Bowl, I'm not trying to sign him to a contract. Although in the NFL people do get cut kind of quick, so in that case, I wouldn't actually mind.
Well, it's interesting. Well, he only said, Cromartie, that he was going to retire at the end of the year if Denver won the Super Bowl, and there's been conflicting reports as to whether or not that was actually serious or not. And I think that kind of talk is pretty premature in general.
Yeah, I don't know why he would do this. Because how old is he right now? He's not that old. He's probably like 26, something like that.
He's a little older than that. Oh, here's a good number on Vontae Davis for you right now. Vontae Davis has had a 5 years, $11 million contract for the Colts over the past few seasons. So if he's $5 million a year works out to about $2 million a year for your second corner. Like, the Pats can do that, especially with the NFL salary cap going up as much as $3 million, as much as $10 million this year, and then it's projected to go up to $140 million in 2015, and at the end of 2016 or 17 could be as high as $160 million.
Yeah. So you can there's ways, as long as that finance guy in your front office is good, there's ways to, you just pay this guy, just pay him more later. You just grandfather the whole contract, or you still be fine. I mean, if it keeps going up every year and you're just against the cap now, like you're on that fringe, you'll be okay the next year. Of course, I do think Vontae Davis is going to demand more money than what he got before, because he produced more, and that's a whole reason. Because I think the Colts would have kept him if he wasn't going to demand more money. They might keep him, but I don't know if he's going to be able to demand. He would want around $8 million a year. He probably wants $6 million a year, which is still not a bad contract. It's just the Patriots don't want to spend a lot of money, but that comes out to $14 million a year for your cornerbacks, in which reports talking about they might pursue Revis. Revis is going to demand, and is already demanding, I guess, 14 plus for one guy, and there's more than one receiver on the field.
Is Revis worth 14 plus? It's a tough call.
This is my thing. I'm not sure where if Revis is the Revis of Revis Island days, if he's that guy, maybe. I'd say yeah, but he'd have to be that guy. But that's only because he shut down all the league's best receivers who are making more than that amount of money. I think he should. At that time, I always thought he should have paid $1 or $2 million less than what the best receivers got. But now I'm not sure if he's still worth that. And I mean, how long did he sign him to a contract for? It's not like he's 21 all over again. I mean, I kind of see. I'm not saying Cruz is as good as Revis, but right now that's all we know. I mean, he's probably around there, but you can just get him at a too good price. And I'd rather two guys. I'd rather two because you play a team like Denver, you shut down Demaryius Thomas, so then they still have Wes Walker and Julius Thomas and whoever they get to replace Decker still running free, then it's not really doing that much for you. Doing a lot, but not that much. Not doing enough.
Yeah, I understand the mentality. I think as a whole, I agree with the thing that you're saying. It's always better to have two assets than one great asset when it comes to football. I mean, basketball, it's a completely different story. You'd rather have the one great guy. However, when it comes to pro football, and since teams are spreading out the ball a lot more, especially like teams like the Saints and the Pats, their offensive style is clicked across the league. Well, the Pats were a little different because they had the two tight ends, but basically the concept of having four pass catchers running out at the same time, whether that's tight end or whatever, that has caught on a lot in the league, and I'm not necessarily sure it's the best idea. However, it's the way that the league is going, and you would if you're going to spend that amount of money, which I think the Patriots need to do, it makes sense to try and get two guys for the price of one, if that makes sense. So I would probably go, if they're trying to solve their secondary situation, I would re-sign Talib and see if you can talk Vontae Davis into a reasonable contract. You might have to overpay him because he's 25 and young and still good. However, I'd be willing to overpay Vontae Davis. They have the money to do it. And there are a couple other things they could do.
I mean, that's been their woes for how long their secondary. I mean, sometimes the secondary play well. People forget how good the Patriots' run defense was because of how bad their secondary was. That's why. I mean, granted, when it got to the trenches and the goal line, that's when we had such a great goal line defense because we had great run defense, and most teams are mostly going to run down there. But I think if you fix those secondary roles, all of a sudden now the linebacker and the defensive ends and the tackles aren't worried so much about it. Therefore, they can play their team more honestly, and all of a sudden, that can make the defense jump 13 spots in the defensive ranking. If you fix one part, that's just totally bad. And I think they should do it. I don't think they should be cheap. I don't think they should go after one guy. I mean, if Revis is still Davis Island and he's an A-plus cornerback, I'd rather get an A- and a B+ than just get one A+ one. Now, if, like, the only corners available were, like, C grades, then I would have went for Revis. Because you have to stop somebody.
Yeah, that's true. I understand where that.
I'm not sure when because Revis played zone so much last year, I'm not sure where he is.
Yeah. We may be worried. I don't think he's suffering from the Asamoah effect, or rather, as I introduced it when we were in roommates in college, the Carlos Rogers theory is, I guess, that type of principle that I introduced earlier. Basically, for those of you who don't know what the Carlos Rogers theory is, or even more probably aptly the Nnamdi Asamoah theory, is when one corner is pretty good to / good, however, the other guy is so bad that they throw at him, and because they don't throw at Asamoah or Rogers, he looks better because teams don't throw at him. However, if you broke it down and you could actually throw at him, he's not as impactful as his numbers may say he was, in terms of people throwing it against him. As for other free agents, so I guess that, which is why, especially the way the spread offense has taken over the NFL, 2 for the price of 1 makes more sense to me.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's not like, we're talking about 2 iffy guys. We're talking about 2 of the best corners in the game anyway. It's Davis actually played good last year. It's just since we didn't get to see him in man enough, which I think was idiotic. Because he plays zone all the time, and that's fine. But if you have one guy that's a great cover corner, it's not like he's just it's not like he's one of those corners who are just really good at tackling, and that's why you got him. Like, there's no point if you overpaid a guy to do something he's not going to do that much anyway. It's kind of like getting Tom Brady on your team, paying him $20 million a year, but then all you do is run the ball and you never pass. Like, that was kind of pointless. So, I mean, that's a move they can make. And then, I guess the Chrome thing for Marty can go somewhere else. Maybe he can go to Tampa, go back with Revis. If Revis decides to stay, he can go do whatever he wants to. Hopefully, he doesn't go to the Broncos.
All right, here's one. Here's one I got for you. Other than the Cromartie brothers and the Broncos, that would be interesting. Here's an idea, and one of our favorite teams to try to fix is involved in this, the Cleveland Browns, who you have already come up with a comprehensive plan to fix them. And here's some of their interesting financial situation. They're $45 million under the cap, so they have room to pay guys. And I think there are 3 guys that they should really look to go after. Noshawn Moreno, Antonio Cromartie, and Calvin Pace. Calvin Pace is a pretty easy one because they just lost DeQuell Jackson for nothing to the Indianapolis Colts, which I think is their best free agent signing in the offseason by far, no matter what else they do. Well, not no matter what else they do, but chances are that'll be their biggest impact free agent signing of the offseason, DeQuell to the Colts, I mean. Back to Cleveland, I think Cleveland should get Calvin Pace, because Calvin Pace is a solid linebacker who knows how to be in the correct position at the correct time, is good against the run and good enough against the pass, where teams will try to find other holes in the zone after him. I think Cleveland needs a running back so they can give Josh Gordon some kind of break. So what they do there is they sign Noshawn Moreno to have an immediate impact on the line. And Cleveland can run to the left side a little bit. Joe Thomas, who's an all-pro left tackle, has been the anchor there for however many years he's been there. And last year they ran the ball to the left really well. And I think Antonio Cromartie is a good fit in Cleveland to play opposite of Joe Hayden. Hayden's a kind of do-everything corner, and Cromartie's the guy that they can slap on the bigger receiver and let Hayden take care of a team's shiftier guy. So I think that